Good day. Good day, and welcome to Mental Health and You. I'm your host, Cynthia Timms. My guests today are the architects, designers, and producers of a product that I wish I had growing up and still wish I had. I know it can help so many people, so many peers, and so many others looking to find something, find a human sense, as they say on their website. Uh, transformations. Transformations.com, Transformation Games, is the product and the mind child of Leslie Robinson. Ms. Robinson, so good to have you on Mental Health and You. Thank you.
So great to be here. Thank you so much. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you.
Well, as I was going through, getting ready for the show and in the preparation and the research, um, certain things kept jumping out at me. Besides the title itself, transformations. Transformation implies and peer support, and I guess on a lot of things, going from something, one thing to something else.
Yes, absolutely.
What was it that made you? First off, what is transformations
So
and why? Yes,
transformation games, I developed transformation games because should I share my slideshow
if
or
you like, yes, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So this can help to explain it. Um, so I developed transformation games because there's really no place aside from a therapist's office for people to come together in deeply meaningful ways to have non-judgmental, unapologetic conversations to process their emotions and experiences and heal together aside from a
Mm,
therapist's office. So we've got, many millions of people running around with no way to process what's going on inside of them or to
yes.
feel like they have really meaningful connections with other people because they can't be known. That is why
Hmm.
I created my company. And I am super, super excited to be here. I'm trying to change the slide and I'm not able to do it. There we go. With my team of Keep It Real 100 creators, who you're all going to have the opportunity to hear from in
Yes.
a few minutes, because we came together with the concepts of what my games are to create content for BIPOC youth, adults, and allies. Never before have BIPOC people had a resource with a safe, structured space to have all kinds of conversations about being BIPOC in America and much, much, much more. So in these times where people are really searching for equality
Hmm.
and for everything, for mental health is a huge issue. We came together to create this. We're super, super excited.
And
Uh,
how long is Leslie? How long? When did you start this?
we started this all about 6 months ago. We've come a very long
Really?
way. We should launch it in about 2 months. It has
Mm-hmm.
15 categories. So there's a whole lot of content in it. It's going to start as a web-based game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So basically, all these games help us to feel, deal, and heal. And
Awesome.
here's just a snapshot of some of the ones that are out there nationally. Right now, the
Mm.
cultural inclusion game is in over 1,000 colleges. I don't have a lot of time to go into them now, but you can see there's many different areas: prison reentry, veteran reintegration,
Mm-hmm.
police dialogue, gang life.
Okay, awesome.
They break through stigma. You transformative healing with people in your own life. There's really nothing else that does that right now. Here's a picture of some of them in action. Uh,
Okay.
and I want to stress again, that we really need to have resources where, aside from a therapist office, we can all come together to really impact this mental health crisis that's growing, especially for BIPOC people who are finally, really trying to grapple with what it means to be BIPOC in America. So I'm going to pass the baton on to Celia
Okay.
and to my amazing Keep It Real creators team who have been a brilliant asset to this process. And Cynthia, again,
Well,
thank you so much for this opportunity.
well, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. You're talking about keeping it real 100. As I bring on the keeping it real, is it, guys? Is it, what is it? Is it keeping it real 100? Is it keeping it real? How do you keep it real in these games, and what is it? Thank you so much for being. As you can introduce yourselves, um, what inspired you? What is keeping it real, and what inspired you to do this?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. Well, I was, Cynthia, you know me through peer support and really trying to
Yes,
create something
yes.
for our peers in the community. And what I was seeing a lot is Black youth committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is there's no place where BIPOC, and I'll just say what it means. It's Black, Indigenous, people of color,
Yes.
BIPOC, is that they don't have a place to process all the things that are going on with them, like
Mm-hmm.
mental health issues, like racism. Now, when I was growing up, we used to sit at the kitchen table or at dinner and we used to discuss these things with my dad and my mom and my brother and my sister. But that's not the case now. Not every home has parents or elders to really teach them about, um, you, you know, all of these different concepts. So now that we're in social media,
Mm-hmm.
it's very different than just talking to your grandmother, your granddad, your mom, your dad. So I talked to Leslie and said, why don't we both thought that this would be a good opportunity to create a game for BIPOC so that we could hear their voice. Because a lot of
Yes.
times you don't hear their voice and people speak for them instead of them speaking for themselves. So I asked my nephew sitting next to me, Jabran, and my niece Jordan, and my
Hello.
niece Ashley, and my son Kevin to come together and help create this. And they did, and it's been wonderful.
Guys, that young man sitting next to you, Celia, what has this game meant to you? What inspired you as a young person among your peers? That can go out to any of you, but particularly to the young man sitting next to you, Cecilia,
Jabran.
It's Jabron,
Jabron.
and well, for me, I've dealt with depression throughout my
Mm-hmm.
lifetime. At a young age, I felt depressed, and I try to think of things as like I don't want anyone else to feel how I did, and if they
Yes.
did, I want them to have that outlet where they can speak their mind and feel like they're heard by somebody. And I feel like it's very important because we're human beings first. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things in this world are like analytical and mental, but it starts with your heart. And this game gave me a chance to kind of dive deeper back into my life experience and then draw from that. I was really connected to music as a child and
Mm-hmm.
a teenager, and that's what really helped me tap into my heart and also
Yes.
just find peace amongst this world that's like moving so fast, and there's so many different triggers and things that create inequality. So basically, that's why I felt inspired to help with this game.
Oh, absolutely. Want somebody else jump in? What inspired you to start this game? What inspired you? What made you want to be a part? Any one of you, don't be shy. Just a few, just a few million people listening. That's all. Don't be shy. What's Jordan? What brought you to keeping it real, and why keeping it real?
Okay, well, hi. Yes, my name is Jordan. And what brought me to it was, you know, Jabran, I also struggled with depression and anxiety, not so much as a kid, but definitely as a teenager. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the main things that kept me motivated for this game was, especially specifically in the Black community, I feel like we're aligned and not aligned at the same time. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have a game where we could sit and understand each other and our differences, like because sometimes we tend to separate each other based off very superficial things. And I essentially wanted a game that not only brings us together genuinely, but also helps us heal and helps us understand more without all this chaos, because there's so much outside forces that are coming against our community, where we don't really have time. There's no need for us to be bickering about certain things and certain specific things that keeps us apart. I really want
Hmm.
us to fully understand each other and things and this and that. And like, maybe even if you don't agree with someone's certain lifestyle or the way they choose to express themselves, you can empathize with them as a person. You can respect them. That in turn
Yes,
brings us together. Togetherness, creativity. That's what we need, especially in our
absolutely.
community. So yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
My next guest, what brought you to keeping it real and why keeping it real? Why is it important for you, Miss Ashley?
Well, thank you so much. Yes, my name is Ashley, and yeah, that was amazing, Jabran and Jordan, Auntie Celia, Leslie. I really just know that games, when someone thinks of a game, it's the paradigm is playful. They're not
Hmm.
thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to sit down and talk about my problems." And
Yes.
so the fact that that is the paradigm and that is how we usually view games, it is and it's really a magnificent idea. In fact, it's a generational breaking, just healing thing. And I always, always, always want to go against the status quo. That's just
Mm.
who I've been born to be. So when it came to this investment, my aunt, of course, it's family, you want to help out also because of that. But just the mission behind that, I really, really believe in it. And that's why I decided to join.
I think it's awesome. But in my experience in peer support, I too come from a background where depression, anxiety, and I didn't always know how to express it or how to articulate it, I should say, to my elders. I came from a background where it was just, you just got over it. You just kept going despite everything. So, yes, I played games as a kid. I had Monopoly and I had backgammon and I had checkers and but as I said in my introduction, I just wish I had something like this that spoke to me. In my research for this show, I was watching the YouTube videos and I was watching, the families, I was watching the seniors, people from all walks of life. And the questions that's asked in these games really resonated with me a lot. Resonated with some of the people I work with on a daily basis as a peer specialist. And I hope going forward, I wish you all the best. I know you're going to be crazy successful in a good way.
Mhm.
But I want to ask you, in this age of social media, I remember working on support lines 24 hours, and people will call up talking about how social media was just taking over their lives. Always want to keep up with their friends. That became their whole lives were consumed by Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. How do you aim? I guess the question is, how do you aim to bring young people together? How do you aim to maybe integrate social media in your enterprise?
Well, I think I can go and speak on that. I think that the biggest tool is your own life.
Hmm.
Think that when people can relate, I've also gone through depression
Yes.
myself. And when you can just tell your story, it is probably one of the most impactful
Hmm.
ways of communication. So I would say that's one way, is to just be you and to share your truth.
Oh, absolutely. For me, I must add before I go on. Besides the games, I got into poetry a lot. I got into music a lot. I got into the written word, as in poetry, as in writing, as in playwriting. I guess all of those things led me here, led me to peer support.
Mhm.
My anxiety, my depression. So, I mean, again, I thank you so much. Anyone can come in. What do you hope to? What do you hope will come about with these games, and who do you hope to reach, and how do you aim to reach them?
I'd like to answer that. So yeah, I we were hoping to reach everyone in the BIPOC community. We did make this, because all of us are African American, so we did make this with like, Black people with a special part, special part
Hmm.
in our heart, like definitely in mind. But we want to reach out to all those communities where, you know, and what I think, the goal for me specifically, and I believe for all of my team members, is for our players to walk away, feeling refreshed, feeling heard, feeling validated, feeling like,
Hmm.
even if I don't have resources or money to go to like a therapist or have,
Yes.
proper care, at least I have this. And that could be a building block for, getting them resources down the line, or just have a place where they feel seen. Because social media, it is a very good tool to like, get your voice heard out there. But a lot of times you can get like swept up in the
Yes.
thousands upon millions of opinions that you see, and then sometimes you'll see something that goes against like your lived experience, and that causes you to close up. With this game, no matter where you come from, what you believe, who you are, everybody will be seen, everybody will be heard. So
Great. Thank you. I want to ask, how has the pandemic, how has this new reality we all find ourselves in now?
I created a free site. I have 10 free mini games at COVID19CPR.com.
Mhm.
COVID19CPR.com. There are 10 free games. There's a game about justice. There's a game for loss and remembrance, for healthcare workers to heal together, all sorts of things on there. So that's how I've been impacted. That was my gift for the pandemic.
Wow. Thank you for mentioning that, Leslie. And I want to bring that up to others too. What type of games? You talked about justice and the other things that was part of the games. What are some of the games? What are some of the games in
In the
keeping it real
So
and
the
Okay, so
transformation?
transformation games, the free, I'd shown the slides. So I had prison reentry, veteran reintegration,
Okay.
dialogue, inclusion, on and on. But the free site has a bunch more. They're mini games and they're just the questions. So these are all physical games. Thank you, Cynthia. Those are all
Thank you.
physical, board games and card decks. The free site, COVID19CPR.com, especially the one I want to let people know about, is loss and remembrance, where you can have deeply healing conversations about somebody you might have lost due to COVID or lost in any way. I think there's a real need for that one. But there's the
I think.
justice, all about justice issues, where we need to process that as well in community.
I thank you all. You know, when you said loss, that resonated with me. In my work in peer support and just in everyday life, I've come across loss is so much loss, I should say. And loss can mean more than just losing a loved one or a good friend. Loss can mean the loss of a home, the loss of a job,
mhm.
the loss of hopes and dreams. Social media and the intersection of social unrest and at the intersection of the pandemic, how that has played on us. So the loss of our innocence, you know, what does the American dream mean to us in the midst of this? Or is it really an American nightmare for some of us?
Well, this is why we created this
Thank you.
game,
Yes.
because we realize that the American dream doesn't always try to include us,
Mm.
BIPOC youth. So that means we have to create something that helps us heal. And I think Jabran wanted to talk a little bit about the one of the categories, music, that him and Kevin
Okay.
came up with.
yeah, so me and my cousin Kevin put together a compilation of our favorite song lyrics from different
Hmm.
songs that we felt lead someone to look inside of themselves, be introspective, and we hope that these lyrics can, help people relate to the different emotional traumas that they may be going through, and it's
Yes.
just to like kind of give people their own space, just like you said, because a lot of people they grow and they're able to deal with their problems through art. Like you said,
Hmm.
you're into poetry, you're into music, so that's the poetry, music, art aspect of the game, right there, or
Hmm.
one of them. And yeah,
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Um, as I was doing my research, I was preparing for this and looking through some of the features. If I must share, one of the questions, it was a family. It was a family talking about, one of the questions was, talk about a life altering experience. And for me, you know, it got me a lot thinking. It got me thinking about things that maybe I hadn't thought about in a long time. Uh, the death of my mother. How did that impact me so many years ago? I lost my mother when I was 20 years old, y'all. I and even all these years later, when that question was asked about a life altering experience, because it was her that used to recite poetry to me when I was a young child. It was her that used to read my poetry, my short stories. It was her who I used to be in church on a Sunday looking at public speaking. And I wonder sometimes, how did that impact me? And it's still impacting me. So I just wanted to share that, y'all, because that question got me thinking in a way, my goodness. And it's something I hope to share. I've shared before, but I haven't shared in a while. So that's how it personally touched me and got me thinking. Because I have a lot of other peers and clients and patients I've dealt with over the years who talked about the love and the loss of a parent. But in these days, loss can mean so much, so many other things: the loss of a job, the loss of the American dream, the loss of your job, your career.
So
So, for
I
me
think,
to you, I want to thank you.
Cynthia, I'm so sorry you lost your mom. I can't even
But that's
imagine.
how your games impacted me. And I
I
just want to
see.
thank all of y'all for, like, wow. And I want to share that with others because y'all got something
Mhm.
here. Even when you don't think it, y'all got something. But as you were saying, Celia, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, it's okay, Cynthia, my friend. Jabron's going to put up the last
Okay,
PowerPoint.
okay,
He's going to share it.
okay.
Okay.
I did also want to say, Cynthia, thank you for sharing your story. That's extremely brave, and
Hmm.
that's something that we're
Much.
looking to help heal. And with the game, like when you
Yes,
share something so personal, you will have a safe space to share that, in a
thank
community.
you,
Let's just go to
thank you,
Jabron's
thank you.
to the second thing. So one of the things, and in our family, in my family, we have lost a lot of elders. And I
Mm,
wanted to bring up my aunt Gloria, and her name is Gloria Wise. And she worked with the youth in the community,
mm,
and has taught me, my sister Jocelyn, and my brother Norman so much. And she was the
mm,
person that played games with us, like
mm,
Monopoly,
mm,
Password. Remember Password?
mm.
And she's taught us so much. And I want your audience to really get to know her. She is my aunt, but she also was a very important um, figure and leader in the community in the Bronx.
Okay.
She passed away in 1993, and that was a very devastating part for our family. And we were young at the time.
Mm.
But what makes me feel good is that she lives in Co-op City, and you see where it says Donzetti Place? They
Yes.
renamed it Gloria Wise Way.
Awesome.
And
Okay.
I remember my grandfather and my aunt Juanita, they went to the celebration, and the mayor's office was there. It was a really big deal. So how I deal with loss is to keep remembering them and keep
Mhm.
letting other people know, like who my Aunt Gloria was or who my dad was. Um, and I think that that makes me heal better. You never get over the loss totally,
Right.
but if you can remember them and have good memories and share it with your family as well as the community, I think that helps me to heal. I just wanted to put all our names on the slide
Oh,
and
absolutely, absolutely.
for
Where people can find you, where people can reach you, absolutely.
and for more information, contact us at keepitrealbipoc@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, guys, and I want to thank you all for being part of Mental Health and You, and we got to do a part two real soon. And
Yes.
absolutely. In the last 2 minutes, anybody want to say something? Anybody has where you know any last moments, any last words for keeping it real, and what you hope it will accomplish, what you hope it will, how it will impact people.
I'd like to say something really quickly. I wanted to say, well, thank you, first of all, for everybody that's come together today. Thank you, everybody, also for living in your purpose and saving the lives of others because of it. Being courageous enough to get up every morning and just fight for a difference and making a change. Um, I do also want to say that I believe this game will break generational curses, and that's
Hmm.
big in the BIPOC community because it has momentum of years of not only just slavery or America taking over indigenous tribes and whatever
Hmm.
we've experienced. um I believe that this is a movement making shifter, and so yeah, I'm really
A
excited.
movement making, absolutely.
Hmm.
Guys, we've come to the end for now, but I want to thank you so much for being part of Mental Health and You, for that transformation that you're starting, for that healing that you're starting, that restoring that we're starting. That's what we try to do as peer specialists. And we all are in our special way peers and peer specialists, doing our using our platform to help better other lives by sharing our story. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank Bronxnet for being a part of this experience. And from me to you, keep it real, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so
From
Thank
to
you
next
so
time.
much.
Thank you so
Okay.
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so
You're very
much.
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you, my amazing